Hey guys, welcome to the review show. My name's Austin, and we're going to be talking about Exorcist. I'm here with Carson. He's been on the channel a couple of times. Exorcist believer. That's the correct way to say it. I'm not a believer of this movie, that's for sure. That's it was not good. It was awful. Uh, and you know what? And we had somebody talking next to us throughout the whole entire film, which that didn't help, narrating everything about this movie that was completely wrong. Apparently, you said like they were talking about. They said, "Oh, the zombie did this or whatever." I
Yeah, it went from like witches to zombies. There's a lot going on. So definitely very interesting to say the least.
Yeah. So, I mean, which they're describing the movie might have been way more interesting to watch than this one. So who knows? I've seen clips of the original. I don't remember it too well. So, but I do know that. So I probably should read off the description. Who cares? Don't see this movie. It's the fifth whatever in this franchise. I'm pretty sure it's the fifth one. I think.
Oh gosh. I don't
Because
know. Here, I'll fact check you live time. Don't worry.
okay, I know I know that I know three of them. Um, but I don't know if this is the fourth or fifth one. But yeah, so it's this picks up like years later down the line. It's with completely different characters. We have a father figure. Well, no, we have a father, we have a daughter, and next we have this other family who's just like, they don't care about them, but their daughter somehow gets involved, and the movie asks by the end for you to care. It's like, yeah, I did. Well, I mean, I felt bad for that character, but it's like I didn't really care because like the movie doesn't really take time to actually build with this family besides our main characters. But even that goes so far because our main characters has like a passing mother, and that kind of how they get into the situation of possession, and which could have worked. I mean, it had an interesting concept. Like that you had the search. Like you had this movie felt like two different movies. Like you had this missing type of movie where your two kids go missing, and actually you have this like detective sort of s to it, and actually you have the Exorcist part of the movie. Which and so when you get to the Exorcist part, that's when the movie gets really bad and dumb. And because you
Oh,
like, let's get the Catholic Church into the movie just to say no, we can't do it, but I'm gonna break their rules and do it anyways, and next get myself killed.
well, he didn't only break rules, he also broke his neck. So he
Yeah,
was two for two on breaking things.
he
So
and he broke the number one rule is not to touch the possessed people. And what he does is he literally just goes puts his hand touch, and it's dumb. It's really bad. I don't know. I I would I don't know if this is worse than The Nun or if it's like slightly better because I like the idea of it and it could have been good, but it's just surrounded by stupid people, which I'm pretty sure the first one was based off true events, right? Wasn't the first one
uh,
based off
true
air
events.
air quotes true events? And so it's like if like that's based off true events, and next they bring back the original person from the first one, and she's a complete fucking idiot.
Well,
She's just
that's a
dumb.
light way to put it.
Uh,
So
I mean,
I mean, the whole movie is premised on the fallacy of how stupid people could actually be. For me, it was really unfortunate because Leslie Odom Jr. is really great in Knives Out. That's an excellent movie. And then he,
the
is in
mom.
this one. No, the dad.
Oh, the dad.
Yeah. Tanner, not Tyler. I was going to say Tyler. But yeah, no, it was really interesting to say the least of like, of how can we make a movie so terrible. You talk about an exorcism and exorcising demons and bad things out of people. They should have taken a note of their own movie and exorcised the bad crap out of their movie itself. So,
It's just by the third act, it's like, wait, it's like, how does anyone know this? Like, we have like a ex nun who isn't really an ex nun and has a weird like backstory. It's like, wait, so you broke one of the main rules of being a nun? So that makes no sense. And so it's like, and it's like how you really, and it's like, you're supposed to care about this person. They're like, I am truly a nun. It's like, no, you're not, because you broke the number one rule of being a nun. So it doesn't, like, screw you. And she does it terribly. She acts like she, like, messes up the whole entire exorcism, and it's really bad. And actually, I don't know, like the even the ghosts, like the possession parts, like, I'm confused by their motives, because for one, it's like it's the same ghost from the first movie, but it
Hmm.
isn't.
It, I think it's the same possession. So the overarching theme is, the devil character, the demon character knows information about all the characters, right?
Okay.
So it's just sad because everybody was blind to see it except for the old lady who actually went blind.
Yeah, that, like, which is the original,
Yikes.
which is just like, hey, let's bring back, the first person from the first movie, because Halloween did that. Every movie now after the 2018 Halloween, it's like, let's do this. Texas Chainsaw, Netflix, which was a terrible movie. Don't watch it. Um,
Didn't have any plans
it
to.
it 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 literally did that. Same thing here, but they're in both films. They're idiots, and they do completely dumb things. And what's funny? This movie is directed by the same guy that did those Halloween movies, and which explains a lot why it's just bad, because it tries to be more funny, and the horror aspect doesn't work, because it just built, like, there is no build up to anything. Like, there's, like, literally just scenes of jump scares, like, just for the sake of jump scares. It's like, bah,
Yeah, I didn't even think there
gotcha.
were that many. I don't even think there were that many jump scares either. It
I
felt like
It's just no
the movie
suspense.
itself was scary. How bad the writing was.
Yeah. Us, the real part is like, it would have been scary to see who came up with this idea. That's the scary part. And
Well,
so,
and you have like the whole scene in the beginning where it's like, oh, we're gonna bless the baby. The mom's gonna bless, oh, I got a great blessing for the baby. Mom gets crushed by an earthquake, or
oh yeah,
not. I'm sorry, not by the actual earthquake, but
and
by
then
the
there's a
building in the
twist,
earthquake.
and there's a twist later on. I'm like, wait, what? What is this twist for? This, and it adds
Well,
nothing. It literally adds nothing to the film, because it's the last 5 minutes, and it makes no sense.
and that's the thing is, it's like the blessing didn't make sense, but then it was like the main character for dad Tanner, it's like not believing
Yeah,
God because his wife got killed
and
by
5 seconds
a
later,
building and a birth earthquake, and then now he's believing
yeah,
it.
five
It
seconds later.
really. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I was gonna say, like, yeah, like, so this nun, like, character, like, ex nun character, it's like, oh, here's like a sort of form of a Bible. I don't know what she handed him, but it was like a book. I'm pretty
Oh
sure it
yeah, like
was,
a book. It was a
and
book
he's
on the
like,
supernatural and the
okay,
Exorcist
and he's
by
like, I don't believe in this crap, and he's like, and next he reads it, and he's like, oh, I suddenly believe it, but I'm suspicious still.
yeah, and then he flies out this woman from Florida or whatever, or some town, that type of thing, and then
Yeah.
it's very cliche in the fact of it's it stayed too safe, but even in the safety of
Well,
scary movies, the writing was horrible. I mean, I don't know who got paid to do that, but I probably could have wrote a better movie.
see,
Just
this
kidding.
is
No, I
the
couldn't have, but
this
still.
this is where the writer strikes is coming involved. It's like, can we, get rid of bad writers? Let's do that, or just
Or
give them more time. Um,
well, and that's the thing. The mom was an I'm pretty sure she's a singer. I don't even think she's an actress, which
oh,
makes it even
the
weirder.
older lady,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's I
and
can't remember her name.
like, they added a weird subplot again, like, for her as well, like, her daughter, because she wrote a book, which is the daughter of the first film, because her daughter got possessed. And her daughter's like, I don't like that. It's like, you're on national news, so who cares?
Sure.
But
And well, and the sad complexing part about this entire thing is she hears about her mom getting her eye stabbed out,
from
and
who?
that's like, oh, remember how she said, "Oh, I heard about." I can't remember how she phrased it, because she's like, "Oh, it's me. It's your daughter," and
Yeah,
it's like, wow, you go to visit her after she got stabbed by the demon girl
it's like,
with a
yeah,
cross. The
now
whole
I
thing was
care.
just bizarre. Yeah,
And it's like,
and
who got in contact with her, because no one knew where she went. Not even the mom knew where she went. So it's like
Well, I
there's
mean, she wasn't sure, she couldn't see anything. So
yeah.
it
Just
yeah
like
it
you could have the dad off screen. It's like it's me, it's your daughter. I would have thought that was funny.
well, what would have been
But
more interesting is instead of the demon infecting both girls, it should have been the demon trying to kill the other girl that has the blessing, right?
yeah,
And she's now the Catherine, was it Catherine? I think was her name. Let me check. I feel bad. So Angela was the one girl, and I think Catherine was the other.
okay.
Don't quote me on the name because I
Yeah,
can't remember. It was bad. But
our main
anyway,
character and the sub character.
yeah, it should
But
have been the main character's daughter. Tanner's daughter should have been fine with the blessing at the beginning of the movie. That should have been like the coverall of like, the demon couldn't infect her. And so now he infects the daughter's best friend who's now haunting, or,
air air quotes best
yeah.
friends because
It,
the
it,
parents
it,
don't know about them being friends. And it's like the parents hate this family anyways. It's like this weird. The movie tries to add so much. It's like you have the possession part. You have it's like you have and the movie even like mentions like everything is also mentioned like the last 5 minutes of the movie. It's like you have this blessing of like you're like you were born for a reason type of deal, and
yeah.
it's like okay, well, why was that mentioned in the last minute of the movie? And it's like that could have been an interesting subplot, and the demon using that, and the daughter like they could have had a cool dynamic with that. Like there's cool ideas, and like I'll say like the kids, great acting. I'll say that they did
Oh yeah,
fantastic.
I thought they were much better than the adult counterparts, that's for
Yeah,
sure. So,
give them an
well,
Oscar.
and the problem is that when you have the child actors who did excellent, who play the characters well, and which creepily so did really well at being exercised and having demons or whatever, and then you have the adults that are like me right now on a walking pad, like, oh no, everybody, let's run away, but let's not do anything to save any of our other family, or oh, she's a psycho crazy and we're
Yeah,
gonna leave her in our house. It just it makes, I don't know, every time I see a movie where it makes people look stupid, I either wonder if people are that dumb,
yeah.
or if in fact it's just bad writing that makes, oh, it's convenient to make the parents complete dummies, or it's so convenient to make the church pastor be like, oh no, it's just
That's yeah.
it's very silly.
And it's like the movie breaks its own rules. The movie literally breaks its own rules, and it's because like at the demon is somehow controlling electricity nowhere near our main
Mm-hmm.
character. Like he's just like, huh, that's strange. Before the even possession even happens, because like this was
Mm-hmm.
before the actual seance. It's like, why is this happening? And later on in the movie, like it's like, you got to choose one, and you choose that one you save. Ha, gotcha. Screw you. We're gonna kill that person that you wanted to save. It's like what?
Well, they tried to make the dad choosing the mom, between the mom and the daughter,
Yeah,
different than both parents choosing, you know, the daughter. And so it's interesting because it tries to make the point that he's no longer going to choose and kill people. So he chose selfishly his wife, right?
yeah.
And then the wife actually died, and he got the daughter instead. And then now it's like, now he has the opportunity to choose his daughter, who he chose his wife over that would have been the daughter. I mean, you look at it from a perspective, he would have chosen the daughter in a heartbeat, right?
Yeah, and the daughter would have
But
died.
yeah, and then it's trying to show like, oh, his character growth, and it just goes counter. It goes counter to what parent wouldn't choose their child, right?
Yeah,
So it does, it tries too hard to show him like as a great, ethical, good character, when in fact it almost made him look bad again at the very end.
it's
I don't know.
not choosing
It,
anyone. It's like okay, they're
yeah,
both gonna die. Then is that how
yeah,
is
you're
like
like,
is that what was gonna happen? Like they both die. We're gonna die.
well, and it's just bad to character development. It doesn't complete an arc. It doesn't make him look like a great dad. It doesn't make
Yeah.
him look like a great husband, because originally he chose the wife, but he actually got the daughter. So I was trying to think, and it's a question for you because I'm actually having a hard time. I can't remember the last time I watched a scary movie where I actually was like, "Wow, this is a good movie." I can't
Uh,
I can't think of one. Isn't that crazy?
Well, there's a couple I actually really like. Skimmerick is a good horror film that came out this year. It's an independent film. And
See,
literally it's literally just, but the thing is the creativity for that film is that there is no characters. It's just literally a
mm,
camera choosing different angles and you're listening, which is a cool thing. And so it's like it's more suspenseful than scary, and it's more of like a sort of a thriller. But it's like you're there, and it's like your own sort of imagination. But it's like, is there something in the background? Is there not? Like, what's going on? Because it's also, I believe, also like somewhat of a true event as well. But
so right here, I'm looking because I was curious this year. So Saw 10, I
yeah,
don't know if you
that was
consider
a
that horror or thriller, got a 7.1. A Haunting in Venice got 6.8.
that's not a horror. That's not horror.
That's that's what
That's
I mean,
that's
but it's
that's a
put it.
thriller.
Hey, I'm reading top 50 horror movies according to IMDb. So you have The
Yeah,
Nun 2 got a 5.7. Uh, Exorcist got a 5.2. So it was actually rated
is it
lower
high,
than The Nun.
lower?
And the meta score is 39. Yikes. Meg 2? I don't even.
Oh
uh,
gosh. Oh
so,
no.
well, and that's a bad thing. The original Exorcist has an 8.1 out of 10. So you'd figure, you just have people that love the franchise or love the brand. You just need to make them a little bit happy, and it gets a pretty good score just from the fact that it's in the
Name.
trilogy or the sequel. I think of the six, and yeah, Evil Dead Rise got a
That was a pretty
6.6.
good one. That was a pretty
Yeah,
good
I thought it was okay. I think for me, they made the characters look stupid again.
by the
You're
end,
like
yeah. But
you're
yeah,
like
by the
really
end they
you're
were doing
opening the
stupid,
door.
stupid.
Yeah,
And well, I can a little bit like let the girl like that scene. That's a whole entire different movie. You can watch a review on that. But it's just the thing is, all the other films that we mentioned did everything that this film did better.
yeah, that's true.
And
Look at
so
they even rated Hocus Pocus.
the
Apparently, that's a
sequel,
horror film. No,
oh,
just the first one.
it's like they
So
rated the sequel higher.
yeah, Insidious Red Door got a 5.5 out of 10. Knock at the Cabin got 6.1.
That's not horror. That's thriller.
And yeah, I'm just telling you what according to this. And so you look on here, a lot of them are rated, but like even the original It got only a 7.3,
That's a
Conjuring
good. That's a really
7.5.
good. Like the original, like the like old, really
No,
old, or the
no, the one from
2017.
20. Haunted Mansion got
That
a
was that was
6.3.
bad. That's a bad one.
Well, but here's the thing: is that people love the idea of Haunted Mansion, and so you just have to do a semi okay job, and people upvote it. And
Yeah, the
so
general
that
audience. Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I mean. You just have to make it an entertaining movie, have a scary character, have a good character arc, maybe kill off a few of the main characters, keep the one that everybody's emotionally invested in alive, and then, woohoo.
yeah.
So,
But this film doesn't do any of that. It's like it's like we want to, but we don't want to. We
yeah.
don't. It's like because we can make a sequel out of this, probably. No,
Well, and that's the sad thing is they're trying to think, oh, we'll just keep making sequels and sequels, and you know, now you have what if they make the dad now an exorcist person?
yeah.
They're gonna keep doing that, and that's the sad thing is it's like they could have written. Oh my goodness, I can't speak. They could have wrote a story that was so much better, had so much better
Let's
characters.
just not make
I
the
mean,
film.
you could write it from the perspective of like what happened when they were gone for 3 days. What if they
Oh
made it a
yeah,
flashback clip and now it's the girl remembering, how they got into this scenario in the first place? I mean, it would have been so good.
yeah.
It
That could have been
they could have
interesting.
made you could flash forward and then kind of flash back. So there's been a few. I think I'm trying to think of the one that I liked. I think it was the first Insidious movie. Don't
I,
quote me on that, but
like one of the things I thought of, and other people saying, it's like they talk about these 3 days, but it does not feel like 3 days. Like it's like they go
oh
missing
yeah,
and next they're back 2 minutes later. It's like, oh wait, it's only been 3 days. It's like you could show the dad and like him grieving and like him going out even more, like trying to find him. And it's like you could have played like a detective side of this. Like he finds the shoe and like he goes based off that. And he's like, okay, what happened here? Find the shoe. I don't know, find the picture of the mom, the scarf, or whatever. Like they could have done
Mm.
some detective work, and actually could have done some background research on what they were trying to do.
Or or maybe the mom has possessed the daughter now because the
And
mom's
next
mad that
the mom wants
yeah,
revenge. That could have been funny.
yeah, that would have been even better. Or,
Yeah,
at
it's
least
like
more, but
it's like you didn't care about my daughter type of deal. It's like I
well,
told you to save her.
and that's the sad thing is it's like you think that if we just refine it a little bit more, make it not less jump scary. Jump scares are good every once in a while, but
I
just
hate jump scares.
make it
Well,
more intuitive.
see, I'm
Like,
fine with films that build up the jump scares, but it's like ah, that gets the teenage girls, I guess. I don't know.
well, or make it to where it's like, she doesn't like to take a bath. Make her disappear in the bathwater and shoot out of the bath. Don't like have her go like around the corner and it's like,
And
and
yeah,
then
and
he's like,
choke out the
"Where is
dad.
she?" And she's like this, and you're like, "Okay, well, first off, any natural person who sees walking towards them is gonna instinctively, like
Yeah.
no, but instead it's like, let's pray for our daughter who's stabbing out people's eyes and
We even have people break into people's houses.
oh, that was so good.
It's like we have one friend who's apparently really good friends with our main character, and he breaks into our the house his house, and it's like, here, I'm trying to make it easy for you. We're praying for you. It's like don't break into his house. Do that somewhere else. It's and like later
Well,
on, our main character even breaks into someone else's house.
my favorite is remember when she goes, "Okay, take the water and pour it to the east of the house,"
It's like
and the
what?
guy's
Yeah,
like, "I know where the east is," and he walks out and dumps the water, and it's like,
it did
for
nothing.
what reason? Yeah,
It,
it's it wasn't like there was like a jump scare. There wasn't a oh, this was like when you jump the
that's
east or
bad water.
yeah, it's like and then you sit here and you're like, well, they couldn't they could have been worse. That movie could have been much worse. I mean, it could have. I don't know
Yeah,
how, but it could have.
I mean, I would never watch it again.
What? That's like a top five horror movie of
Of
the last 3 minutes.
bad horror
Yeah.
films.
I
That
think what your channel needs to do is you need to take all of the lowest rated horror movies ever and just sit through a 20-hour like back to back. I mean, it's excellent. So,
I mean,
you know,
I just watched Enemyville, 2000 horror
oh yeah,
2005. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen from a horror film. Ryan Reynolds was just he goes nuts instantly in that film. Um,
Ryan Reynolds, I'm telling
Ryan
you,
Reynolds,
there. I love seeing actors and actresses who go back to movies before they're like uber popular.
yeah.
And you're like, ooh, you're
Ugh,
like this
who
whole
blackmailed
performance
you?
was atrocious.
Yeah. It's like
So
it's funny. It's like this is like his time. Like that was the time like he was like trying different stuff. Like because before probably the horror film was always like rom com stuff before Deadpool,
sure.
and so
Well, you know what? I call it comedy, but I just love it in general. The Scream films, like the excellent.
five
Oh,
is
speaking
pretty
of which,
good.
I thought it was pretty good too. I
Six was a
I
little
think
bit.
even the is it the Netflix TV show? I can't remember where it's on now. But I thought it was pretty good. It was pretty
Huh.
interesting.
Is there not?
Um,
Is it just one season?
here I'll tell you right now. This is why I love facts checking
Yeah,
in normal time.
I like
Let's see,
evidence.
TV show. Okay, it's 3 seasons,
Oh,
and it has a 61% on Rotten Tomatoes and 7 out of 10 on IMDb. Not too bad. And you can watch it on it's on Amazon Prime now.
yeah,
But you think it's like I don't think people want something super realistic, right? Like you want to go and look at something where it's like, oh, it's a phantom or a zombie or whatever.
yeah.
But then you also don't want something that's so outrageous where it's like, oh no, a zombie is
Fast
eating
X.
me. Yeah, let me run. And then they run like
Family.
yeah, they run like 3 miles an hour, and you're like, oh no, it caught the generic, person and killed that person first, or you
It's
know, ate the dumb blonde lady that walks through. Oh, don't walk through the door, and she goes, okay, and then walks outside
well,
and gets chopped in half or whatever. You're like,
See, I don't
So
mind characters like that, but every single character in this movie is like that. It's like, what's the point? It's like this
my
is
favorite is the
dumb.
piece. Nami nami no, and then like it's shot. You're like,
Yeah,
really?
it's like what was
So
the point of having him in the movie? Like literally have you could have had a backstory where the dad was like, he I don't know, was very like he was very like actually like a really hard believer, and that's because of his wife dying. That's why he stopped being a believer. But he was like he was really good at connecting and like with like God or something on those forms, and like that's
yeah,
how and his relationship with his daughter that he didn't really originally wanted, but grew over time, and that's what saved them. But no, it's like I choose this. Oh, okay,
yeah.
yeah, it's saved. It's like what?
Well, and then he's like, "Oh, you idiots for believing that. You guys are all morons and dummies." And then the 2 minutes that it took to flip a script of like, everybody believe this. We need to believe in this person and that one, and we need to get people together. And it's like the super religious lady that was going crazy, psycho, the body in the blood, the body in the blood. And she's like, at that point, you would have been like, okay, she's demon possessed. But
The
instead, they're
dumbest,
like, let's keep her at home.
yeah, the dumbest thing ever is that so the demons go nuts, and at some point they're in a hospital, and they just like, and the hospital's like, yeah, take them and have an exorcist
Oh
at your
yeah,
house. I'm like, what? No, no hospital would be
they're
like
like,
allow that.
she's not super psycho. Let's leave her at your house, even though
That's
she stabbed grandma in the eyes. I mean, the fact that she got stabbed in the eyes would have been like, and then the
twice,
police are
both
like,
eyes.
and then the police come and they show up and they're like, oh wow, what happened? I'm like, dude has a broken neck. That
Yeah,
lady got like flung across the room. That one girl's dead. I mean, at that point, you should have noticed. Okay, something
it's,
was going on.
it's like at that point maybe the police would actually think like the family killed one of the girls.
Oh, 100%.
It's like
Or like,
possession.
and
What do
killed
you
the.
mean? You took these kids out of the hospital where they weren't needed to be. It's like what's
Yeah.
going? It's like
Well,
at that point it's like going to a prison and taking out somebody that killed 20 people.
and even then, I mean, I sit here and I'm like, the only thing I loved about this movie was the little girl who brought down the whole demon on top of both of them as the one who died,
It's
which was
it wasn't even
excellent.
her fault. It's
Yeah, it
like
was karma. It was karma. You're like,
it's
oh, good, she died.
yeah,
So
geez, how convenient. It's like like they could have made it like where she was like a terrible person or something. It's like
yeah,
okay, yeah, it makes sense. That's why the demon killed you because you're terrible.
she's like, I'm walking through. I thought she killed the dad in the church, didn't you? She's walking through with like blood on her, and I'm like, oh, great, she killed the
Yeah,
dad. And then the dad
dad
comes
comes
running from
out.
nowhere.
It's
Oh no,
it's like
Catherine!
where did all this blood come from?
Catherine, be quiet. Don't speak like that. You're like, oh my gosh, these people are so dumb.
It's
And
like
then the rest of the church is like, what's happening? And you're like, oh,
you're in
just
a you're in a church. Like I feel like people would know like okay, that girl ain't right. There's something wrong.
yeah.
Like there's a devil in her or something because she like for one she goes missing for 3 days and she's looking at it
And
like
then she's
she's
walking like
dead.
this, the body
Yeah.
in the blood, the body in the blood, and she's like freaking out, and you're like, what's happening? So no, these types of movies just really frustrate me because I always feel like I'm like so optimistic that they're gonna be decent, and then they're horrible.
Yeah.
So I bet you we could reenact the movie and it would be
Uh,
better. I could do it low budget. Watch,
I literally if they just send me the script and I looked at it and re-edited it, it would be better. And I
watch
just
here. This is it. Oh no,
oh
the lights are going on and off. I should pretend and think something's wrong. It's like, what is going on? It just
yeah.
it's too funny.
I
So
mean like I'm at this like you can have like the these cliche stuff like lights turning on and off
oh
but
sure.
it's like but you got to be creative with your shots, you got to be creative with the writing of your characters as well. And the thing is the movie doesn't take time with the characters. Like you have the side family and like one and it's like and it's also like you have the girl a part of that family and it's like we don't know anything about that family. If anything the family doesn't know anything about our main characters. The family hates our main character and and somehow they don't know that they're friend like the daughters are friends and it's like and next you see when the main character's dropping her his daughter off at school it's like their daughters and that family car is right behind them and their daughter goes up to the car. It's like how do you not know this family interaction?
See, the movie that I was thinking of that I really liked is The Invisible Man. Do you remember that one? Like
I've
two
heard
years
of it.
ago,
I have not seen it.
3 years ago.
I've heard
Okay,
really
so
good
that
things.
one's good, and it has a 92% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah,
Because you think, okay, it's believable because guy's invisible, but it's still good because it's like, well,
the
this
shots of
isn't
work.
like, yeah, it's not like a phantom. It's an actual person that's just invisible.
Yeah,
And so you like it because it's like it's semi believable, but it's in a way that's like very thoughtful and different. I don't know. I really liked it.
yeah.
Um, yeah, and it's
I
Universal Studios, so you think they probably do a pretty good job.
Yeah, and
So
I'm pretty sure in that movie as well, it's like, they try to come up with a clever way of like defeating the Invisible Man. I'm pretty sure like didn't she throw like paint on him at some point?
yeah, I
And
mean
so
that should have been the first thought immediately is if you think something's invisible, like in Harry Potter when he's walking around in an
yeah.
invisible cloak. I'm thinking, oh my goodness, just take some flour, shoot off a flour bomb, and see what sticks to him.
But yeah,
So
I think I don't know if there was I haven't seen the movie, but I think it would have been if there was a couple times where she tried to do it and she just like, okay, maybe I'm just going insane or something. And next
or
later on she got it right.
even better, put saran wrap everywhere and have them walk right into the saran wrap. So you just think of like, okay, like what would you do differently? But I definitely think there's some interesting prospects of like, different movies and I hope they continue to push the bounds of let's be creative. Let's come up with something different. Let's give a different backstory or different person. What if it's I really liked the Evil Dead Rise one was good because it's the mom, right? Like instead of it's the child being like demon possessed, it's the
Yeah.
mom who's just trying to eat everybody and kill everybody. So, which by the way, that poor girl at the very end of the parking structure who gets like beat up by those invisible ghosts,
Oh yeah.
like yikes,
Uh,
sucks to suck.
Well, sucks to be at the wrong place at the wrong time. That's
Yeah.
like that's what this movie is. It's like sucks for this daughter to have this friend who had lost a mom. It's like
Who's a dummy moron? So,
yeah.
but
Um, I feel like this is not even that's sort of a review, but I think we're more talking about like what's wrong with more of modern day horror films now. I think that's
mm,
what the video is, which I might call this. I might call it like Exorcist believer movie review slash like I don't know. I'm trying to think of. Oh no, The
uh,
Exorcist believer. It shows what's wrong with shows what wrong with modern day horror films. Something
well,
like that.
and that's the thing too is it's like we can't undervalue the credit of actors, actresses, writers, producers, but I think there's a craving of like we see it with Disney all the time with Star Wars, Marvel. We're not running out of ideas. We're running out of opportunity to make them different
Yeah,
and different in a way that's actually enjoyable for the viewer.
it's
So if we just copy, Control C, Control V, Control C, Control V, the same stories and the same character development, I mean, what are we really doing?
yeah.
We're basically just creating something.
It's literally it's just like oh okay what did they look at like these films it's like okay what did this film do it's like okay it has jump scares okay cool we'll take the Exorcist we'll combine it with the Conjuring and we'll put those together and we'll do it half fast and not actually put any effort but then you have the movie like and it's like, for example, like we do get original movies like The Creator, which is a film that I like, but I don't love because there's a lot of issues with that I have. But it's like it shows that there is creative and still have you still like there's people out there with ideas. You just got to find the right people,
Well, and here's the
especially on
thing:
YouTube with short films. Like there's a lot
I
of people.
want, I want, instead of remaking sequels, this is where industries need to combine. So, like, the writing space needs to combine with the movie space. Like, let's take books that are actually written by people that can write and turn them into a movie.
Mm.
And I get it. There's a lot of books and movies that are similar. There's a reason why authors who are like excellent, who come out with multiple books, like Stephen King is a perfect example. His books aren't just popular because it's like, oh, it's Stephen King. He wrote one good book. Now we're going to buy all of them. No, they're really good because they're different. They have like a different look. I don't like a lot of his books, but I do recognize his skill and ability to create characters, stories, make them arc right. And so it's like, why don't we take more of those and make something similar. Like, why don't we take what's already good and then just make them a movie?
Well,
I don't
you
know
know,
why that's so difficult.
they try that with his books, and usually his movies books suck.
Well, and that's the thing. I think a lot of it is what is the intended use of that specific book or author or character. Where a lot of movies fail is that they take something, they take the idea that people have conjured or
And
what
they,
conjured, excuse me, and
yeah,
they butcher it and it's horrible.
yeah.
So
It seems like they more like, okay, we'll take this book, but not change anything. We'll keep literally all the same elements, but it's like you cannot have the same elements from a book and put it into a movie because it's not how that works. Like you
yeah,
have time to develop in the book, you're gonna have to change it in some form where it works in a movie form.
and
And
I
so,
think the other thing too is for horror films. I don't want to see Ryan Reynolds in a horror film. I don't want to
I,
see Will Smith in a horror film.
I
I
mean,
want to see
if they
some
have the acting ability, maybe.
sure, but then it's like you've developed this idea of a character of a person. So like if I see Chris Evans and stuff, I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, there's Captain America or whatever. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Or Chris Pine. I'm like, oh, there was Captain Kirk. You
yeah.
know what I
Ex
mean? You
boyfriend
look,
20, whatever.
yeah, you look and you go, huh, I see that character. And so horror films can do so well from a solely from a perspective of like they're not going to be like major, you know, there's not going to be 70 of them, hopefully not. Although
Yeah,
that seems to be the direction we're trending in. And so it's like let's pick some actors and other people that maybe don't have acting experience. I mean, if the writing's bad already, it doesn't matter how the acting is. Like, you know what
I
I
mean,
mean?
what
So might as well take a
if anything,
swipe.
one will hold up the other. The bad acting might make the bad writing both either like really good, and you can have like a laughable bad horror film.
Yeah, a negative and a negative make a positive. But instead, we have actors that are like, oh, that's actually an actor that I've seen in multiple things.
Opposites don't,
Yeah,
and so
it's just interesting that that's how they do it. And so I think that there's definitely a lot of work to do in the horror space, although there's a lot of work to do in a lot of areas. I'm
yeah,
trying to think. I feel like action and adventure, video game movies, there's a really good opportunity to see like video game to screen.
which are getting more popular every day now. Like
Yeah,
we're getting like PlayStation is really getting into that air of like making their more of their movies. Like we had Uncharted, we had The Last of Us, we had Gran Turismo. Like and you know what? All three. I won't say that the Uncharted was great, but
great.
it was okay. I was like,
It
okay,
was watchable. It
yeah.
was good.
And it's like if they
I
do,
went, oh,
yeah, it's like they had the chemistry at the end of the film. It's like, okay, carry that into the sequel and don't have the stupid like, really, I'm the bad guy and I'm gonna kill that guy over there and ruin your guys' paychecks if we fail. Because that guy actually
well,
was richer and had the money, and I was just
and a lot of people are like, oh, I didn't like, Tom Holland as,
Tom. I think he did good.
Nathan Drake or whatever.
He did good as a young Nathan Drake.
Yeah. No, I agree.
It's Mark Wahlberg that didn't really try and put in any emphasis on his voice. And people are like, well, how does this connect with the games? It doesn't. It's not supposed
Well,
to.
and that's the thing is it's like if we're gonna do movies and books or video games or whatever,
They
it
have to
would
be
be nice to
separate.
see. The thing that I'm surprised that they haven't made movies on is Call of Duty. I'm shocked that they wouldn't take one and
They
just
because they did with Doom, and it's like, oh god, that
I well, and that's the thing is that here take a premise of Saving Private Ryan, slap on Call of Duty,
it would
and
sell.
you could make a pretty good
It
oh
would sell.
100%.
It's they're doing it with
But the
Minecraft,
problem is, I mean, there's a reason why certain series come back around, and you're like, oh, like Band of Brothers, excellent series. You go
Mortal
watch it.
Kombat.
That still holds up over time, and so people go back to things that are great because they were very thoughtful. And I mean, maybe I think it was Steven Spielberg who helped with that, and he's just great. So
Yeah.
maybe that helps with it. But you look at it, and it's like, I don't know. It's just interesting to see.
And but this kind of loops back around to Exorcist, where it's like from point A to point B, nothing was different.
Mm-hmm.
It's like by the end of the film, are they strong? Like the daughter and father, stronger now? Like they have a stronger relationship? No, they have the same relationship from the same as the beginning of the film. It's
Well,
like
I think he grew a higher respect for, he doesn't have to prove that even though he didn't pick her over the white, like, but even then
but
it's
I feel
like,
like but the reveal of like I didn't really want you should have been at the beginning of the film
sure. And
because
then
it
that
would
would
have
have been
built
the
up.
breaking point as to why she wanted to talk to her mom or something.
Yeah. And it's like at some point she maybe like found out about it, like actually personally, and not the demon be like, ha, I knew about this like somehow.
Yeah.
Um,
Or if she would have revealed a lot of stuff to the dad himself instead of other people, I I don't know. There could have been better ways, if I could speak, to do it. But like I said, we're trying to diagnose something that isn't meant to be fixed because it's not really a matter of they're not like Hans Zimmer writing a score or a Steven Spielberg directing and producing a movie. This is, hey, we're making a pretty standard scary movie and just want to make a little bit of money with a decent budget with you know decently great actors.
and we'll
And I
bring
don't want
in
to say,
people with the name Exorcist because
oh yeah, because it gets people in seats. I mean, the opening night that we went to see it, you would think that it would be more busy
the
on a
earlier showings
evening.
were a little bit more busy. I was
Oh,
looking at like
okay.
those, but even the cinema, but even this weekend I work at the movie theater. It was pretty much dead. There's just like minor rushes, and it's like a mix. Like you have Saw X, you have the Creator, and yeah, you have a couple people for the Exorcist. But it's like I don't
Part of
know.
me wonders why don't they make a Barbie and Ken scary movie where everybody's a normal person's being chased by Barbies and Kens. I'm sure it would sell out.
Yeah, yeah, and get Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling back for call it make that as the sequel. Um,
It would
but
have been
yeah,
great. Just kidding.
yeah.
So
I think we talked about everything, and I think we dived into a little bit more of a deeper meaning behind what we expect from films. And it's not like we don't. It's like people are like, well, man, you just don't know how to have fun with film. You just don't know how to have fun with it. It's like, no, we know how to have fun with it, but it's like until you go too far with it, it's like the breaking point. It's like the first same reason why I couldn't enjoy Megan, because by the end of the film, it was us trying to root for the person who created the machine and was stupid about it from the first place and didn't add, because one of the lines like, you didn't add a safe code of me not killing for killing. It's like, wait, what? So it wasn't for the
shouldn't
reason it wasn't for the reason because she got destroyed by a dog and so the wires were messed up. So it's no, our main character's stupid for not adding a code to make sure for safety reasons.
well, and here's the thing. Those are the types of things where it's like it's like art, right? There's cubism, pointillism. You can have like traditionalism. I'm just making up words at this point. I don't know what they're called. You have modern art. You have art, Renaissance art. Everything is different and very unique in its own way. And there's great art pieces or there's great movies from every category. The problem is though is that when you have people that are like, this is art, and they throw a banana at a
Yeah,
wall and go, this is great.
it's like spaghetti.
Really? No. Like, at some point, you have to say there is a standard to hit, and
Yeah,
this is not the standard. This is bad. And so I think there's just a lot of movies. There's a lot of movies now, whereas before it's like, I can think back where it's like, okay, we were like 2, 3, 4 years between trilogy movies. Unless you're Avatar, then it's like 40 years. It feels
no,
like,
it's 10 years.
yeah,
it's
same
it's
thing.
literally been 10 years.
I
Even
mean, that
more.
was 70 dog years or whatever.
Yeah, it's gonna be like everyone's gonna be in their like 40s when the final film comes out. That grew up with the first one, and so, but yeah,
It's
um,
perfect.
yeah,
Now instead of blue people, it'll be blue old people. So
yeah. The main casts are gonna be like 80 at that point. Uh, but yeah, I I don't know. It's just that at some points, like like the horror films, like okay, it's easy to throw in a jump scare because that's there's people that have never seen a horror film will go see this and like that's scary and that's like really good. It's like well, it's like you think that's good, then I'll show you this. I'll show you the original Exorcist. Good luck with that. Yeah,
Well, and that's the weird thing is even the kid who was talking the whole time in the movie next to us wasn't even
wasn't even
scared.
scared. It was
I know.
talking.
You're like,
No one was
okay, if you're
jumping.
not scaring the
I
kid,
I think one person lapped out loud. I think someone
oh
was
yeah, that
like,
was
"Ha!"
funny.
It's like so.
And then you're like, because I remember when movies used to be scary and people used to like pee their pants, not really, but like they were good. And now it's like
The
you can't even make the
2006,
8 year old who is next
yeah,
door to me. He's going, Mom, what happened to the zombie? You're like, oh my gosh. So yeah,
the 2017 It movie got me, and like that was like one of my first horror films that I've seen, and I was like, and it's still get like freaking Georgie's death scene is still terrifying.
Traumatizing.
Yeah,
Traumatizing. Poor Georgie.
poor Georgie.
The
Um,
we all float too. We all float too.
yeah,
So
but yeah. So I I I guess since for the point of a review, I'm gonna give Exorcist Believer a D minus. There's a couple of things. The acting from the little girls were pretty good. But
yeah.
besides that, there isn't really that much to it.
Yeah, I'd
Uh,
give it a 2 out of 5 stars. So
yeah, that's
I
overall,
gave it an extra 0.5 for the girl. The girl's performance was excellent. And
yeah,
and I think those are the types of movies where you go, hey, you could have, the little girls can be good. I thought the chemistry was or pretty good between them as well, too.
yeah.
So
I wish there was more though. I wish that like you saw them do more stuff together, and I feel like that's why it should have built up more. But it's like, oh, we got to get to the actual scares. We got to get to them, being weird, or our audience are not going to care because like if teenagers these days can't get off TikTok, so
I feel like
they're
they were like 12. I don't know. They
yeah.
seem pretty young. Or
Well,
it was 13 years later,
well
13. So they were 12 or 13.
this movie's rated R, and it feels like it's trying to aim to kids for a PG-13 film.
Was that rated R? Wow.
It's rated R,
Oh.
and it's like, oh, what's it R for? Eye stabbing and throwing out black goo.
Yeah, the
So
eye stabbing. I will say though, the eye stabbing was pretty good. So
yeah,
they did an
I
excellent job.
laughed though. It's
She definitely got stabbed in the eyes. That
yeah,
was very apparent. So,
but yeah,
but no, I feel like everybody leaving the theater wanted to do the same thing. They were looking for their own
they got up
crucifix.
immediately. Everyone got up immediately when the credits hit. There was maybe
It
two
was like
people.
directed by Don't Care. Bye. Yeah.
Bye. It's like
So
there's like a couple people that actually do like sit through the credits, to see all the names, and I don't even
sure.
think those there was people there. I don't even think they care. It's like, man, I don't want to know who made this film. It's like, no, I think you want to know who made this film, so you don't go watch the next film, the next
The
action. Like,
next
oh,
one.
they made that again. Oh, great. It's like vote with your wallet, people. It's like if you know who's making these films, then don't go see it because then you
I
like
think the problem that I'm worried about though is I like the idea of exorcism movies. Just do it well. If you're gonna be somebody who gets the opportunity to write like a Halloween movie, Exorcism, Freddy versus Jason or whatever, Scream, do great because these are movies that if they're done well enough, there could be another one.
yeah.
So
Like for example, Talk to Me. Not a film I loved. Not I didn't even really like it that much, but it's directed by people that were YouTubers.
mm,
They did the McDonald's stuff, like and it's like they were very well known for this McDonald's stuff that they got to make their own films. Now, me from a looking at it, I was like, yeah, there's this issue, but I like the ideas, but you can see the effort in the film and what they were going for. Here, I'm like, no, they just want to make another film for a quick buck.
yeah, that kind of
There's a difference
that
of
sums
like,
it up very nicely.
yeah,
Put
like
it
there's the difference between failing and just like, yeah, you just missed the mark. You take the criticism and work on it for the next one, and just not trying.
Watch. This is my reaction. This is Catherine. She died.
Yeah, yeah. Oh no. I I did feel bad, but I didn't really care. I felt more bad for the actress though. It's like I feel like she probably went through some trauma for that scene.
I
That like like that's it has good atmosphere. It does. It has like the setup, but not the writing or the directing.
see here. This is my thoughts.
Yeah,
Rating gonna slowly go down. So, but no,
but
I definitely think there's definitely some things that they can build upon just in general in movies, but I don't know. Well, I guess we'll just have to see. So,
yeah. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. We originally planned to make this a review and it turned into something completely different. Um,
we probably should have written it out, but unlike sometimes you just let us do whatever we want, basically like
it's like
movie directors now.
it's called my channel. I can do whatever I want. It's
Exactly.
like yeah, it's like man, I want a review. It's like well, you did get a review, but you got a bit of something different too. And
And
so
I think sometimes it's fun to be negative
it's
about bad
but it's
movies.
also fun to do something different every once in a while.
Mm.
Now I'm not gonna say it's like oh yeah I had fun, let's do this again. It's like but there's a reason to do like we did this for like we dived deeper for a reason,
Mhm.
unlike this film for not having a reason. um
Well, she
to
dove
be
deep. She got pulled down into the ocean because she got chosen to die. So,
and
right.
everyone's careers and that were in this film, they got deeper under.
Not the
And
little girls though. I think they were the bright spots.
they'll probably their careers will probably go up because if the people on this film actually do listen to the criticism, they'll take these two like directors or whatever. They will look at these girls like, yeah, okay, we'll
Yeah,
give you guys another
they were
shot.
the bright spot.
And they're kids,
What
like
in a bad
they
movie that need to be exercised.
yeah, and
So
they're also kids. They have a long future ahead of them. They
sure.
have more films to dive into. These actors like yeah, I haven't acted in years. I do need a good paycheck. I'll do it. So
Sign me up. I'll be in
yeah,
any movie. No, I'm just kidding.
I'll, I'll. You don't even need to pay me. I'll read your script and script doctor it for you for free, and
Mhm.
watch it be making $1 billion. And if well, that would
Just
be the
put
contract. If it makes $1 billion, you can pay me $100 for it.
do Avatar: The Exorcism.
Hmm, great idea. And it's about the general who died, at the original general, not the one where he's like, I'm gonna implant my brain in this
Oh,
avatar.
exactly.
Yeah,
And then you can make it to where it's like instead of them being blue, they can be red
yeah, for
and
being possessed.
dolphins.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, you could
Good idea.
see. I could already write the movie.
Yeah,
I'll work on it. So
it might not be Oscar worthy, but you could see the fun idea where that's gonna go. But anyway,
it may make the Razzies or whatever they're
the
called,
Razzies, jeez.
or whatever they're called. So
But yeah, if anyone's still watching to the end of this video, because I have no idea if I'm even going to bother editing this. But yeah, if you guys are, thank you guys for watching all this way. Go check out Dubby. This is the first time I'm announcing this. Dubby is a sort of partnership ish with I've and where they have like energy drinks like you get 10% off if you use my code a cropper 05. I'll leave a link to the website down below. They have a bunch of different flavors. I'm trying out the uh, punch. It's like a fruit punch sort of flavor. I forget the actual name of it. You can try their sampler pack, and you get 4 different samples. One of their sample, it's like the peach. One of the peach one samplers was really good. So yeah, go check them out. Use my code; it supports me, and it's a smaller company, so it's a win-win. You support a smaller company, you support small creators. But yeah, anyway, thank you guys for
yeah,
watching.
if you want to take a dub, go with Dubby is what I'm
Yeah,
hearing.
go with the dub. Go with the dubbies. That's gonna they might be mad that I created a good slogan for them. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Like always, I'll see you guys in the next review. Bye guys.